I'm David D'Onofrio. I'm the CEO of White Gold. We're pleased to take this opportunity to provide some additional context on the recently released very exciting diamond drill results on our Maiden diamond drill program on the Betty property, which intersected a high-grade broad zone, following up on a recent discovery on the program, which included 50 meters of 3.46 grams per ton gold. This news follows up on some very successful results we also recently released on our Ryan Surprise and Yuli's Rich targets, which significantly expanded the mineralization of those targets and continues to identify the potential to increase our already substantial defined resources within our company, which are now over 1.1 million ounces indicated and almost 670,000 ounces inferred. This program was designed to follow up on a recent discovery of a broad zone of mineralization. What makes this property and program particularly exciting, it's the first ever diamond drill program on the property, and this property is situated in an area that hosts other very significant gold and copper deposits. Particularly, it's contiguous to Western Copper and their large Casino gold copper deposit, which they are now advancing with Rio Tinto as a partner, and Newmont's coffee deposit, which was originally discovered by Kaminak, and that property and deposit sits along the same strike as our Betty targets. At this point, I'll turn it over to Sean Ryan. He's a co-founder of White Gold and also the individual whose innovative exploration methodologies led to the gold discoveries in this district and has compiled the 1 million plus acre portfolio which White Gold Corp is currently exploring. Thank you for joining us, and we're very excited by what we've discovered and what we have ahead of us.
Thanks, Dave. Yeah, so you can see this map here giving us the location of the white, and then the golden saddle, and then the coffee, and then the casino. And you can see that these are big kind of, this district has kind of been slowly brewing along for the last, 10 years, since the white discovery was in 2008. The coffee was 2010, once it got going. And then you can see that the ounces building the casino. So we're kind of in elephant country to speak of, but it's still brand new. Like this is all like it's a brand new district in the making. Now the Betty project was staked based on structure, and that was basically in 2010 while we were discovering the coffee. We kept following the regional structure, and now you can see on this map, this is the mag map, and you can see where the coffee project is, and you can see that blue line right below, and then you can see where the coffee fault that is calling out. What you're seeing is the black dots is the soil anomaly. So you can see where the coffee system is, and you can see where the one just south of the Coffee Creek fault, the call out, that's called the sugar. And you can see where these breaks are from the mag signature. And then if you follow the blue, basically line in a sense, you come to the Betty project, and then you can see where this big Dip Creek fault is coming up. So that's what it was based on, was structure, because that's what the coffee is. So the idea is that, we started hunting in there in 2010 and 11, doing soils, and we started basically breaking out these big soil anomalies. So Ethos took a stab at it with an RC system on the mascot target, and they mostly focused on that. And you can see they had some nice intersections back then, 41 meters of 2.6 grams, and they had some nice high grade, 3 meters of 29 grams. So, but it was 2011 and 12, and the market was on its way out. So they basically packed up and actually gave me back the project. And then the next company to come in here was actually Centerra, and they looked at it in 2014. And we did more soil work, kind of spruced it up, and they got ready to diamond drill, and then they actually pulled the pin on it, management changed, and they focused somewhere else. So this is kind of cool. This is the first time we're actually diamond drilling this thing. And we did hit some nice results in 2018 with the 50 meters of 1 gram with the RAB. And this is basically the follow-up diamond drill program. And the idea is that, as you can see, we have some nice big soil anomalies to work off of. And the Coffee Creek fault is cutting through just north of that Sunshine Creek. So we're within proximity to this big structure that's going through the coffee system. So we know it's not first order structures that are always like, that's not where the mineralization is coming from, but it's part of the system. So usually they're in second and third order structures. And that's what we're starting to kind of tap into. And that's what we're trying to focus in on. So I'll basically let Terry take over from here. But this is where you can see, where the Betty Ford and the White, that was our summer program. But I'll let Terry take it over from here because they were in charge of that program.
Yeah, thanks, John, for providing that nice history and context there for the Betty property overall. This summer, as Dave pointed out, first ever diamond drilling on the property. We selected 2 targets for this year's program. The Betty Ford, the results that we're just reporting now, we did 6 holes for 1,364 meters. The Betty White target is about 750 meters to the north. We did 3 holes there for 824 meters. So again, there's a number of targets on the property. This year we selected these 2 targets to do our diamond drill program on. So this is a drill plan map for the Betty Ford drilling that we did. We did 6 holes in total, 1,364 meters. You can see there we tested about a 500 meter strike length, basically drilling in the same general areas where we got the original 2018 discovery in the Rab hole. The blue callouts there basically show some of the highlights from that 2018 program. You can see the 1 gram over about 50 meters there at hole 2 that Dave talked about. So our first hole, hole 1, basically drilled adjacent to that, just trying to confirm those grades and thicknesses. And, really surprising that, the results for the diamond drilling were quite similar to that 2018 RAB drilling. We had 1 really high grade sample just immediately beneath the overburden, was grading around 9 grams. Then we had an anomalous zone just beneath that, but we got into the main gold zone at just about 19 meters or so, 1.17 grams per ton over 48 meters. So again, when you compare that to the RAB drilling, we're really happy, and it's a little bit of a vote of confidence too, I think, in our RAB drilling in terms of, in this case, the results were quite similar. We drilled hole 3 about 100 meters off to the east, and got similar type thicknesses, but as you can see there, the grade really increased significantly. We had a couple of zones actually in that hole. There was an upper zone that graded 1.14 over 6 meters. But then the main gold zone actually was 3.46 over 50 meters, and then of course there was a high grade core within that that graded over 4 meters over about, or 4 grams over about 30 meters. So some really strong intersections there over that 100 meter strike length. We drilled 100 meters to the west in hole 4. Unfortunately, we didn't see any gold there, but we did in all the holes. Basically, we saw this a second style of mineralization, which is more silver, a little bit of base metals, zinc, and lead. So we were still, it's early days. Obviously, first ever diamond drilling. We're trying to figure out what's going on here in terms of controls and so on. But like I said, the early results on those 2 holes 1 and 3 are quite strong. And I'll pass it over to Cam just to show a couple of cross sections, show what the rocks look like, and so on.
Thanks, Terry. So what we're seeing here is a cross section of the first 2 diamond drill holes collared into the Betty Ford property. So if we focus in on this slide, we'll see that hole 1 was drilled just behind RAB hole 2, which intersected 1.08 grams per ton over 50.29 meters. So the results from this hole are actually quite exciting, as not only did hole 1 intersect higher grade gold mineralization than RAB hole 2, it also identified a polylithic breccia unit, which is an entirely new host lithology for mineralization within our property, and based on our assay results has the potential to host wide intervals of gold mineralization. When we take a more detailed review of the drill core and relate the cross section to what we see, where we see the highest grade gold mineralization occurring, it appears really that gold is more concentrated near surface within the oxide and transitional weathering domains. So if we look now and move 100 meters to the east to hole 3, which, as Terry was saying, was drilled about 100 meters east of holes 1 and 2, we see that hole 3 intersected even higher gold mineralite grades than hole 1 did, intersecting about 4.47 grams per ton over 30 meters, or a broader interval of 3.46 grams per ton over 50 meters. again, with that also a high grade mineralization higher up in the hole, right near surface, where we intersected 1.14 grams per ton over 6 meters. And again, in this section, we're also seeing that the gold mineralization is primarily concentrated within the oxide and transitional weathering domains located between about 50 to 100 meters of surface. So if you just look at what that looks like in actual drill core. So here's a picture of the drill core from Betty Hole 3. From first impressions, it's relatively unassuming looking drill core from a gold standpoint. But what we're looking at here is our polyolithic breccia unit, which is primarily comprised of it's a mixture of sedimentary units. We have some porphyry class in there. We have quartz grains, a little bit of fuchsite altered mafic units, but really not a lot in terms of structure. But what we do see is this very faint transitional alteration kind of oxide horizon, and that's identified by this kind of light orange brown color throughout the drill core, and that again is what we're calling our transitional oxide domain. And then when we look at the gold grades above, so you can see on the top of each row of core, there's some purple and red colors, and those are just outlining the gold grades across those intersections. And it really appears that not only do we have some pretty continuous gold mineralization, but it seems to be correlating to this transitional domain that we see. And again, pretty nice continuous gold grades across this interval. So I guess the big takeaway so far is that we're seeing pretty continuous high-grade gold mineralization within this breccia unit. Still early days right now for this particular discovery. The more we're starting to look at the drill core, the data, the geophysics, we're starting to get a better idea of what is hosting this gold mineralization, and makes us all the more excited next year to go back and continue following up on this on the Betty property.
So a question there, Terry, like go back to the drill core slides or the cross sections. Are they the blue that we're seeing in there down below that high grade? Is that gold hits down?
Yeah, the low grade stuff. Yeah.
Yeah. So you were getting some nice low grades.
Yeah, you can actually see that, like if you look at where the boundary for that breccia unit is, like for example in hole 3, the last blue, where do you see it? It's right on the edge of that breccia.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Right. So, me and Cam were talking about this morning. With your idea that maybe the zone trucks through north of hole 4.
Yeah.
There's a possibility that there's more than one breccia unit as well. Like right now with the drilling we've done, we've looked at it very simplistically in that we have, say, one breccia unit, but depending on the nature of that breccia, there could be multiple breccias, right?
Yeah.
So,
okay.
Yeah.
So that's a very it's a nice hole for the first hole to hit such a nice width with even low grade down to that following that.
Well, yeah, and I think what's impressive, and I think you can actually see it from those core photos. It's not one or two high grade samples carrying the entire unit or the interval. It's basically continuous high grade samples, throughout the whole thing. So it's very like that high grade core, 4.5 grams over 30 meters. I mean, it's pretty much for every sample,
Yeah, no, so that's a lot of juice that's moving through here. So it's it's kind of it's a very robust hole, so there must be more in there somewhere. Any thoughts, Dave?
No, this is great. In terms of first pass here, I don't think we could have hoped for more. This has been a target that we've been itching to diamond drill. Obviously, you needed to work through the protocol that you guys put together to identify these targets and be able to test them efficiently and cost effectively. And I think this is a excellent case study of success for the protocol. And as we developed our better understanding of the district, I think we're further encouraged by the prospectivity. This is one target of 5 on this property. And, as you sort of said, when we started putting this all together, we are, at the very early days of an emerging gold camp, and we're literally just scratching the surface. And as we're doing that, I think we're getting even more and more excited by the success that we're having. We've continued to grow our deposits. We're making discoveries. We have an incredible package with lots on deck for future exploration. So this is a very exciting time to be doing this kind of work in this day and age, and a great tier 1 jurisdiction globally. So congratulations, guys. This is a phenomenal discovery for the company, and thank you everyone for joining us, and we look forward to more exciting times ahead.